Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast where host Jessica DeMent is joined backstage by her guests to banter about theater at Butterfield in Gainesville, Texas.
Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I am your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by the wonderful, the incredible, the fabulous Alison Baron. Hello, Alison.
Hello, audience.
Thank you for joining me today.
No problemo. I was forced.
Yes. Had to twist her arm right behind her back. For those of you who don't know Alison, who haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, you're going to have to come to the show to get that taken care of.
That'd be great.
But Alison is a board member on our board of directors. She is also the director of our upcoming bad show, The Wolves. So Alison, before we get into talking about the show, tell me a little bit about your theater background. I know it's a rich history.
So when I was 5, my older sister, Amber, looking at you, Amber, she did theater in high school. Words are hard. This is going to be a really long podcast.
Okay.
And she did like Willy Wonka and stuff and things. And I, as her sister, 10 years younger than her, was like, oh, wow. My older sister is doing things, I should do things. So 7th grade, I auditioned for the one act because that's what you do in middle school. And I was given the role of stage manager. No idea what that was.
Hey, it's a very important role.
It is, which I learned, not in middle school, but later on. And I've been doing stage management ever since. So I did it in high school. Worked in the theater, was a part of Troop 3105, I think is the number. Oof. I, did the tech challenge at the International Thespian Society stuff. I went to college for it. I worked around DFW. Pocket Sandwich Theater is the big one. Moved to Gainesville. Now I'm here. I'm doing things. I live really close, so they won't let me leave.
Nope.
Yeah. Mostly stage management. I like tech. First time directing. I've never done this before outside of like little kids, which not that different. Maybe the subject matter a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, well, I do remember the first time we worked together was on Stepping Out. And I said, you were the best stage manager I've ever had. And I still believe that because you are amazing.
I try.
You should be with that much stage managing experience behind you. I'd be highly disappointed if you were not.
There's still room to disappoint.
Well, it happens to the best of us. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about The Wolves?
So, The Wolves is not about werewolves like I first thought. It is about a girls' soccer team. And it's just 90 minutes of teenage girls having emotions and stuff happening. Yeah, it's 90 minutes of yapping, but it's so authentically teenagers living through what real teenagers do. It's sad. It's funny. It's really angsty. I love it so much. I was asked to direct it by, may need to bleep that. And yeah, I was available, so I did it. And now I'm just working with a group of teenage-ish girls playing soccer. It's terrifying having to watch theater girls try and kick a soccer ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine those two skills don't often line up.
They don't. They do not. It's very entertaining, kind of terrifying. Hopefully the people that are sitting in the splash zone are not prone to concussions, like number 2 is.
Well, I guess we'll find out on opening night. Woo-hoo. Let's talk a little bit about some of the deeper issues that this show covers. We don't need to go too much into any spoiler alerts or anything, but there are some heavy topics.
There are, and I have a list of them. Because when I was doing my consent form, I wanted to make sure that I got all of them. So, content warning. The show is rated R. They do use some language, and the source text includes references to or depictions of death by suicide, genocide, abortion, racism, sexism, sexual assault, an ableist slur, death, anti-gay attitudes, eating conditions, the forced incarceration and dehumanization of migrants, and possible addiction to alcohol.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, God.
That is a lot.
It is. I found that like little summary online while I was doing my consent form because several of our actresses are minors. Our youngest is 15. And so this is a bad show, Butterfield After Dark, and it is an opportunity for the theater to do like the non-traditional, the angsty, the different. So we're running with it. We have a show that has like really important, it's a comedy, but it also has serious topics, and it's a lot, man.
It sounds like a lot for a 90-minute show to cover all of that.
Yes.
Definitely seems like it's going to be quite a show to take in for our patrons.
It is. I think it's fantastic. When I didn't read it because the script is a hot mess. I pretty sure a few people told you, but
yes,
the original like script size, it's like this big now, and it's still like a book. And it has 3 columns of text throughout the whole thing. So, and it's just different people talking at the same time, overlapping, just different conversations.
Yeah.
And reading it, I opened it the first time. I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. I found a video on YouTube. I had them read it to me. It was so good. The text is fantastic, but just
not an easy read.
It's not, man.
Yeah, I looked at the script a little bit as well, and because I'd heard, some of the dialogue talk and had seen a show or a YouTube video of the playwright talking about it, and I was like, okay, well, what's up with this dialogue? And then I looked at it and was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see now. I see why it would be a challenge for the actors to learn the dialogue. And I see, how it's even more of a challenge to try to read it and let your brain actually process all of that. Because when we hear multiple conversations overlapping, our brain's able to process that a little differently than trying to read 3 different conversations simultaneously. So I'm sure it definitely plays much differently than it reads.
It works really well. It's just the first time you go through it, it does not make sense. I took in my personal script, I had to mark out all the columns. I had to figure out which ones were overlapping and which ones were separate, and if it was a side conversation so my personal script is just a whole lot of highlighter. It is just a rainbow threw up on it because I have all of my notes on there with my blocking, with like the side notes, with my tech. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It sounds like it. Wow. I know you mentioned already that this is a bad show. And for those that don't know, all of our bad shows, that's Butterfield After Dark, go on in the little Carnegie Theater. And so how has that been challenging for you with this show?
So most of my issues is technical because downstairs is not made for tech. It is traditionally like reader's theater, very cutesy, very demure, very not a lot of tech. Whereas upstairs you have like full lighting bars, you have a full board, full sound, you have a deep stage. Downstairs it's giving cafetorium, very small. And when I read the show and every picture or thing that I've read about it, it was performed in the round. So taking in the round with a stage that's maybe like this much, the same spot that we're in, and putting 10 people on it and having them play soccer was a whole lot. I'm not going to give it away, but we are in the round, which means that instead of a big picture on the stage, the audience is all the way around, and then the actors are in the middle. So there's a lot of actors who are very young in their careers or have only done traditional like proscenium stages. So teaching them how to act completely all the way around them, like a lot of it is body, but just existing and being able to be loud and being able to like look at all their corners and making sure they're visible and just how that works. For the set, it was very simple. It was just throwing some grass on the floor. No spoilers. Lighting, right now, traditionally, there's 3 lights down there, which were all pointed at the stage. So we had to beg, borrow, steal some light towers from some friends, had to steal them from upstairs, rewire, relight, finding power for them. It's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
I am a tech person, and Devin loves me, so our technical director, hashtag Sparkle Club. But yeah, it's just been a whole lot of long nights and getting people to help, and somehow there have been a lot of helpful hands to help us with this.
That's awesome that there's been so many helpful hands. I'm so glad that we've had the chance to kind of talk about all of that, because I know our audience doesn't usually get to see that. They just show up and see everything as it's come together. And, especially in the little theater, sometimes things might feel, oh, this is simple. This is just nothing. So for our audience to be able to kind of have that insight that a lot genuinely went into the production of this show, not just in the basic rehearsals and line memorization that you would expect, but in the set creation and the considerations of the audiences and the lights and all of that. So it sounds like it's going to be such a fun show, though.
I am so excited for it. We are about a week from opening, and we are at the point where we're just running the show every single night. And it's a bit rough. We're doing our off book. It's always a bit rough with actors the first time they're off book and we're doing line notes, but each night they're getting a little better, a little smoother, and like all of those bits and pieces are clicking now, and we're getting there.
Yeah,
it's feeling nice.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm really excited for our patrons who are going to get to come, because I'm sure a lot of, just like most of the actors who are in the show have never acted in the round. I'm sure a large amount of our patrons have never actually been to a show in the round. Yeah. And that is such a vastly different experience. And especially I feel like being down in the little theater, where it's already so much more intimate and has that different level of experience, now incorporating the into the round into that, I think that is going to be such a vivid theater experience for people that in a way they're almost going to feel like they're part of the show and not just witnessing it, like they're actually experiencing it, which I think is also great considering the topics of the show and the perspectives that are given. And I think that it'll really it'll be a unique experience, but it'll also kind of challenge the way people think about certain things and cause them to, take a pause and consider, especially, in relation to teenage girls and all the very many things that are going on inside of their heads.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. What have some of the highlights of this process been for you so far?
So I've worked with kids before. It's been little theater, but it's also been like when I was in high school. So going from 26 and 16, I just am in a completely different head game. I'm like, I am not these people's ages. I do not click. If you have seen the TikToks, they make fun of me for how old I am. It's crazy, but just seeing them grow as actors, because for like in the round, very difficult to do, even as a seasoned actor. And then doing soccer as you do it, but like the first night we were doing this, I had them all sit on the floor and just roll the soccer ball to each other and then say their lines. And then we worked on kicking. And then we worked on, there is an elaborate like soccer drill that they do in the middle of the show that we had a soccer coach come in. Like he teaches or coaches fancy soccer.
Like select teams?
Sure.
Yeah. Your fancy sports. Soccer.
Who is the brother of one of our actresses. And he came in, taught everyone how to kick a ball, and taught us all these different things that we could do to make us look cool. And it was a lot of fun, but like seeing them go from like not able to walk and chew gum to kind of being able to kick to now doing these elaborate things while saying words, and especially with the timing of it, each night they may be in a different position while they're doing the drill, or they may be kicking it or they may not be, and doing it with, it's crazy how much they've advanced and grown in this role.
Sounds like a lot to take on, especially for such young actors.
Yeah, because some of them are balancing school and band, and they're high school theaters and work and.
Yes.
So, and it's great because the past few years have been working only with adults because that's just been what's around in the area. So I'm used to them like doing this and like researching on their own and now I'm in a position where I'm like, I need to be also a teacher and like, hey, you need to do this. What do you think when this happens? How do you feel about this? And like giving them the capability to make decisions by themselves and feel confident about it and like reassure them.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine.
I do not understand how Shannon does it with like 50 kids in the summer.
Shannon has a very special talent when it comes to working with the children, I believe. So.
Speaking of children, Ghostlight Youth Productions is happening November 15th. It's about a light.
A light. It's ghosty.
And kids.
And that's all we know.
I'll read it eventually. I'm doing the show. I have not even touched it yet.
That's hilarious. And those tickets are also available online. So
it sounds like a fun show. Our show opens October 10th. We run for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all downstairs, all at 7 p.m.
And tickets are limited, so don't sleep on your opportunity to buy one.
It's intimate. It's in the round, so there's only 50 seats we could fit downstairs, which is different than however many is upstairs.
Much more.
We'll be better next time.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't tell me I was going to have to know how many seats we have.
You
so
should know. As the VP of marketing for Butterfield Stage,
I should know how many seats we have. Look, I just pay attention to the percentages of tickets sold. So I don't know what that amount is half the time. Note to self, do better at my job.
It's fine.
It's fine. Well, Alison, I don't have any more questions for you today. But how about before we wrap up, you tell our audience why you think they should definitely not miss this show?
Because this is like the coolest thing Butterfield has done in a while. It's techie, it's angsty, it's not about werewolves.
Not about werewolves.
I don't know, come see it. It's cool. It's fun. I am holding a contest for my kids. Whoever gets the most people to come see the show, I think I'm buying dinner or a prize or something. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. We'll see who wins.
So if you know somebody who is cast in the show and you want them to get the reward, help out your pal and buy all the tickets.
Oh, yeah. I am completely fine bribing them.
Absolutely. Hey, it works for kids sometimes. So, all right. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Alison. You are fabulous. And I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you for recruiting me.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being amazing. And thank you all for watching us today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video with your friends. You can buy tickets for the Wolves online or call the box office. All the information will be below in the information box. You definitely don't want to miss out on this show. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Alison, again, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck on the run of this show and your directorial debut.
Terrifying.
Very, yes. Well, we can revisit those feelings on October 13th. No. A couple more weeks. You'll be good. You've got this.
I'm fine. 2 Sundays.
I believe in you.
It's great.
Yes. Thank y'all again so much for watching and have a great day. We'll see you at the theater. Bye.
Wave.
Oh, I should have done the pageant wave.
Pageant wave. Pageant wave.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.